So, hello and welcome to today's Woodworking Wisdom. So, we've been given a little bit of a challenge trying to do something decorative along the back wall here. So, we've got sort of a decorative backdrop. So, we've had a look. What we're trying to do is something like a panel type effect and show you how simple this can be today. So, we've got some MDF. I've been and bought that. They even cut it into 100mm strips for me. How much easier is that? So, I really like that. So, we're going to show you how we can cut this and fit it to the wall, make it look a bit more decorative. So as I said with our MDF, it's been cut to 100mm wide, right? But obviously circular saw cut. So I've got a small bit I've cut off the end. I've hand sanded all the edges, right? So a block and some above. It's easier to do before you put on the wall, believe me. So hand sand down both sides, that'll work. Other thing I've got, if I just flip round, it's in my back pocket, here we go. Little sanding block. We've used this before. This has got a 45-degree angle. It's screwed together. That just allows me to take off that sharp corner. So again, while we got it off the wall, easier to do, just to soften that in. So when we come to paint it, it's going to look better. All those little things make a difference at this stage. Just a couple of swipes. Okay, that's quite simple. So we've got a long piece, exactly the same technique we've done along here. Got our edges. So the next thing really with this, it's got to go up on the wall. So we've got to fix it. We've got to go along, we're going to go to the corner. We can then start looking at the uprights. So get that bit done. So we're going to use something as a construction type adhesive. Okay. So I've got gum. This we can put on. Now this is going straight onto plasterboard. We're going to keep the skirting. If not, you've got to take the skirting off, the door architrave. So 6mm MDF is going to work nicely with this. So our glue, let's pump it up a bit. There it is. Easier to work pulling it towards me. I can go onto the skirting. It's going to come up to there. I've got to push. Bit of a wiggle helps smear it out as well. Just going over, really looking across the top, checking we haven't got too many gaps appearing. So before we'd started, I'd even checked that the skirting board's level. But let's just have a quick look. We're pretty good there. So we're on top of the skirting's flat. That gives us a good build block. If it's not, yeah, you've got to play around a little bit. So in here we've got obviously a corner with an angle. It's definitely not a right angle, might be 45. This stage I'm not too critical on what that angle is. We can do sliding bevel, put it in here, we can set it up. That'll give me the angle for the end. I can overshoot one into the other, come along, make it nice and simple. We're not going to worry about doing a decorative mitre on this, so one will cover the other. So we just really need to cut off this bit. So we've got a tiny corner. We could cut it off with a saw, but actually probably just as easy. Get my block plane out. Let's open that up a little bit. Haven't got to worry about torn grain fibres on this. Just a quick look, see where we are. Need to alter my angle, roll my wrist a little bit. We offer this up. I've got to take up my line to the corner. We can come to the end of the board we've got. I'm going to cut it off. Hopefully that'll fit in there. Just a little bit of cleaning up. I've got a little bit of sanding on this top edge to do, so we'll just do that. Then that can be fitted together. Just checking how the boards come together here. Feels okay. Again, we want to know pretty level. Maybe down that end a bit. Got a slight gap where the MDF comes together. We can deal with that once we've got them all on the wall. So I'm starting to think about now, where do we want to come? We've got to put a capping, something on the top. So we come to there. Leaves a gap off of where the window is. Got our gap down through. What do we need? So that short bit's just easier to manage and handle. 740. Alright, so you can make this whatever you like. So that's going to be our top rail height. We can come along. We want 740. We know we've checked everything is level across the bottom. So we can cut our rails 740. So at this stage, we're going to cut one either end. We'll get those in. Then we can work out how many we want in between. So just checking, put our upright, we cut it 740. Just checking we're level across the door architrave. Looks pretty good. Just checking on there, I've got a slight lump off the saw cut. Just on the back. Let's just soften that. So we'll sand that in. Put it back in place, check things come together. That looks good. We know it's upright. Can use the door architrave just as something to come up against. Put it in place. Wiggle up and down a little bit. Bit like a rub joint. First one done. So we're going to do 3 more. We're going to do 2 in the corner, 1 down the far end. So I'll get those cut, then we'll start sticking them on. So 3 more cut. You could use hand saw, mitre saw, whatever you like. Again, go in. We're going to use the door architrave a little bit as a guide to get us on. To there. Push and up and down. A little bit. Oh. Sort of a adhesive will grip really quickly. We want to get any air bubbles out. Check how things are coming together. Okay, that's the easy ones done. Now we've got these 2. Literally going to bring them together like that. If it's that easy when we get the glue on, it'd be fantastic. Okay, so we can wiggle these about just a little bit, get them where I want, get them to line up nicely. I'll then need to put the spirit level on, just check they are vertical. Do 1 just in place, not too hard yet. Second one in, slide that up. Trying to line up with the bottom corner that we've already cut. That's good. Seeing what's going on there. Check that level on the top. Alright, so we're just looking at spacing for this now. So in between we're going to need a middle rail for here. So looked at that. That gives us about 300mm either side. Okay. Just measured the wall from where we are to the other end. Okay. We have 2775. It's a lot imperial, I don't know. Okay, someone's going to ask, right? We have 7 uprights to go in, right? So that's just saying that we took 7 minus 700 equals 2075. Divide by 7 equals 296. 300mm just about. So we can have a spacer gap of 300mm between, or 296 in between each of these will make it easy, and it will also blend into this corner edge. But you can play around with working out how many you might want roughly as a spacing. So these are 100mm, and it makes it easy to take that number up and divide it out by how many panels are in between. So you need to take the 100mm times by, I've got 7, so that's 700, and then you want 7 panels, so you need to put that in. So that should give you the answer of how you work your spacing. It's so simple. Okay, we didn't say this was elaborate as a project. So we've had a look at, we've worked out our spacing. That's what we need for the bottom. So I can put that in between. We can put that on there. We need one for the top, but if I put this in here, it doesn't stay. So, got enough scrap. I've cut a piece, so that's the same. A little bit either end. That allows us to put it up in here. It'll self-sit. Simple, eh? Makes that easy to do, to get our spacing, get it all parallel. So we can work that out exactly where we want there. So we can get these bonded in, then we've just got the tops to do. Right, so at this stage, we've got it on the wall, got it bonded. We need to let it dry. Still a bit wiggly, so go do that. Then I'll do a little bit of filling on any of the little gaps, close them up. So I've got some filler for that. Once we've done that bit, got to paint it. The other thing I'm going to do, decorative top rail, so something moulded with a machined. So we'll have a look at those. All right, so at this stage, got to dry. All right, so we've left it overnight. We need that adhesive on the wall to go off to make sure things don't slip around. There are a few issues yesterday while we were trying to, right, so we got that done. Next day, just want to sand over the joint areas. There's a little bit of a lip on some of them. Some of them are nice and flush. Tiny little lip. So we've got the sander. All right, so logically, next thing I'm going to do, going to be quiet in a minute. I'm going to put my dust mask on. We can sand those. Right, so halfway through the sanding, you see, really quick to do, just to knock out that edge. If you're watching, no dust. So, wow, what have we got? Little Makita sander, a Burnett multi-hole abraser. So that's working very well with the little extraction bag, getting rid of all that dust. So that's quite nice. Right, I'm going to keep going, get them done. So next little stage, got a couple of little hairline type cracks. Going to get something, a bit boards, possibly not quite straight, a little bit discrepancy when I put it on the wall. So we're going to fill those. So I've mixed up a wood filler we do. Just going to cut back a little bit how much I want. This won't shrink as well. I can use a mixture of two things here. I've even got a little silicone glue scraper, which will scrape off that excess a bit more. Cut it right back. Ready for the paint. So I've done that one. All I'm going to do now, work along the line. Having filled everything, we've got our top rail to do, which just acts as a cover. So we've got some pine moulding. Got to do this funny mitre. And always one of those areas that causes trouble. So the two bits have got to come together. So let's just drop that out of the way. How are you going to mark this? We can actually use something like two bits. Right, let's go that way, but you can probably see a bit more. If I slide these through, I can draw a line. One there. I could actually mark my crossover point is out there. Okay, so I've got that. But I need to bring the two together the other way as well now. So if I actually line these up with their angle, so what I'm doing is sighting my pencil line. This one I could bring down a bit. Gonna guesstimate it down there. This one's coming out. This is my crossover point here, which is actually in line with what we said on the other. So just by doing that, laying them in place, two scraps, line it up, you can find the centre of where that is. That simple little trick of working out where the centre point of those is on that crossover point, which I can now see is, if we draw it on, let me get my study and you can probably focus a bit. There, that's my crossover point from the corner to there. That's the centre. Now if I go cut 2 of those, we'll bring them back, slide them in, we'll test it, see how it fits. So we cut the 2 bits, let's bring them together now. So we've gone along those lines, we can wiggle this about a bit, there you go. How easy was that? Normal scenario, you run around and play around trying to get these right. A little bit of a gap on the back, but I don't think it's going to hurt on this size moulding, just to get in there. Right, a little bit of a drop on the wall I can see here. That makes that so easy. So if you can find the intersect point between the two, cut it off, use a bit of scrap to start with so you're not going into the important rail. Now I can fit the rails so I can cut those. So we've got our pine moulding cut. Next bit, got to fix it on. So let's go with that adhesive again. So we're going to have a bit down in here, trying to get lighter. Oops, off the edge. Let's put it on there, that's easier. Don't want loads and loads. Smear it about a bit. Okay, thinner layer. And I can drop it in. Again, nice and firmly back on the wall. Alright, so there we go. Bit of a home DIY type project. So we've got nice panel wall, painted in, nothing too much. So some grip tape, some frog tape, plastic tape gun. Fantastic way of adding a bit of splash of colour, maybe once you painted it as well, that two-tone effect, but so simple to do. Alright, so hopefully you have a go. Maybe if you like this, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, share it. We'll see you again for more woodworking wisdom soon. Bye then.